I'll say it again. You do not need a degree to be an airline pilot, period. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be repeating myself because I got some new information about, do you need a degree to become a pilot? Yeah, you want to go work for Delta or something? Forget it. You don't need to go to college. So, yeah, the thing is with aviation is that it's always a very changing, a very fluid kind of industry. And lately, all these baby boomers have been retiring, and these old pilots are got to get replaced by new pilots. And there's not too many getting produced right now. It's not like it was in the old days, I tell you. Yeah, so yeah, all these places that have airplanes, they just want people to sit in the cockpit. There you go. So, this is one of the most recent changes of many changes that have happened in all of aviation. Because, like, say, for example, way back in the day, they wanted people to have uncorrected 20/20 vision. So, I mean, I have a commercial pilot's license. I need glasses to go flying, and just about everywhere they got rid of that requirement. Now, the reason they had that requirement in the first place was because so many people wanted to go in and become pilots. They said, like, well, the Air Force says you need 20/20 vision to spot the enemy. Okay, let's do that, and then we'll just keep it. And then that keeps people with glasses from applying to the airlines. Now, this was back in, like, I don't know, about the 70s, 80s. Then they changed that. So, because it wasn't really necessary, you're not you're not going to go shoot down any airplanes or anything like that from your 737. So, yeah, you can wear glasses, sure. But so this is just one of those things that changes from time to time. And just as a way of saying, okay, everybody wants to be a pilot, let's say you got to have a degree. And then your stack of resumes and applications goes from there down to here. Okay, now we can weed these. Like, you could be getting rid of very good pilots, or turning away very good pilots that so they don't have a degree. Big deal. Degrees aren't worth anything anyways these days, since things have gotten dumbed down if you talk to any of the university professors or anything like that. So it ain't what it used to be. And just because you can write a paper on Roman history doesn't mean that you can land an airplane. So, and I was trying to think of other people that didn't have degrees but still did very well as pilots. So I did a quick little bit of research. I did quite a bit of research for this show here too, and I'll get to that later. But yeah, so have you ever heard of Charles Lindbergh? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he graduated from high school and he enrolled in engineering school. And after about a semester, he said, I'm going to go be a pilot. And now you know Charles Lindbergh graduated from high school. That's it. Maybe you've heard of Chuck Yeager, the guy that broke the sound barrier. Graduated from high school, graduated as a brigadier general, too. How do you like that? The general doesn't even have a degree. And Chuck Yeager was one of the greatest pilots ever. I did a little more research on a guy named Bob Hoover. Now, if you talk to any pilot guy, you might not have heard of Bob Hoover, but usually maybe guys my age or a little bit older, Bob Hoover was probably one of the best pilots ever, as far as like being able to handle the airplane. You check out some YouTube videos and you'll see him rolling rolling a plane and pouring a cup of iced tea while he's rolling the plane and going inverted and stuff like that. This guy was just phenomenal, Bob Hoover. As far as I could tell, he just graduated from high school and was working at a grocery store, and then he joined up in World War II. So, and became Bob Hoover, who was a fantastic pilot. So they didn't have degrees. So I went through, I'm bringing this up again because I just heard the other day on the internets. They said, I heard, oh, Delta dropped the requirements for a degree to become a pilot there. And I was like, really? Okay. So I checked it out. And it turns out Delta dropped their degree requirement like 2 years ago. So I was like, who else has done this too? Because I haven't really, I'm in Canada, so I don't really pay too much attention to the United States and what's going on there. And I don't, I'm a semi-retired flight instructor, so I don't really fly big jets or anything. But, some of my students have gone on and they're working at airlines and stuff like that. You kind of lose touch over the years. But then that got me thinking. It's like, wait a minute, I was a reference for someone that used to work for me, and he's working at Air Canada now, and he just has a high school diploma. Then I was thinking of another guy that used to work for me. He's working at Air Canada. He has like in the United States, they call it an associate's degree. So it's not really a full 4-year degree in the States or like a bachelor's of whatever. So it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, we're hiring people here without degrees. I heard about Delta's not doing it. I started going through and I did the research for you. What airlines do not require degrees? So I made a list and it's quite extensive. It's basically everybody. So here in Canada, if you want to go work at Air Canada, don't need a degree. WestJet, don't need a degree. And then over in the States, like all your big guys, they're not requiring degrees. And I just the ones that I looked at was okay. Here's the big ones you would know. Delta, they don't need a degree. Now, American Airlines, I couldn't find it on their website exactly, but I found it on another pilot forum. That no, American Airlines, they don't require a degree. United Airlines don't need a degree. Southwest don't need a degree. Hawaiian Airlines don't need a degree. Alaska, or was it Alaska Airways, Hawaiian Airways? Like none of these things require degrees. So it's like that's new. That's like so do not waste your money on a 4-year degree in the United States or even here in Canada. Just start flying, man. And then you get those hours in your logbook and you're way ahead of somebody else that wasted 4 years in school. You have 4 years of flying experience. So I was looking at that. Then I was thinking, what about in Europe? So Europe's, I don't know. I'm not really good at reading German or Italian or anything like that. But British Airways, I checked it out. I don't see any requirement for a degree over there. So, oh, hey, Dustin, welcome to the show. Yeah, so British Airways, I didn't see anything on their website about requiring a degree. Qantas in Australia, no requirement there either. I think there's just like such a demand for pilots with experience that I mean, you get snapped up. So you just start working on the little guys, the little airplanes, and then into the airlines you go. And I was thinking about it too, how much you would be losing for money, like if you wasted your time going to get a degree. Now, there's some degrees that are worth more than others. Like if you got an engineering degree, which is extremely hard, if you got an engineering degree, then okay, if you lose your pilot medical one day, okay, now you're qualified for, okay, you can go off and be an engineer, and that pays pretty well. You could kind of stay in, if you're a senior pilot, you lose your medical, you lose your job, you can't get transferred into administration or something, then, well, okay, there you go off and be an engineer, and you won't really, you won't be taking a huge pay cut. Like you won't have to, it's not like you're going from, hey, I used to be an airline pilot making $250,000 a year down to working at McDonald's. That would be a big hit. If you go an engineering degree in engineering, yeah, it'll be less of a hit on the lifestyle. But yeah, it's still, even still, what you could do is if you think you want a degree, is just pick away at it, take one course per semester, and over 10 years, hey, I got a degree, and just do it part-time like that. I mentioned that before in another show that I did, and that's an option. But if you think about it, if you go to some kind of flight college, you get your 4-year degree, and then now you have all these, and you're flying at the same time, so you're spending well into 6 figures to get this degree and all your flight training. And so that when you get out, it's like, okay, I have 250 hours in my logbook, and I just blew, depending on if you're living out of town, out of state, you can be blowing anywhere from 100 to 200 grand on all this stuff. I hope you're not getting into debt for that, because you're not getting paid that much when you start off as a pilot. So, like, don't go into debt to learn how to fly. But if your parents are rich, they're paying for it. Just tell them to throw in a card too while they're at it. You're going to need something to get to the airport. So, everyone's financial situations are different. But I was thinking about at the very end of your pilot career, if you do it, my careers have been kind of hodgepodges, and I haven't just got into flying and then I'm out of the aviation industry. I've done all kinds of stuff. But if you get into it at an early age and you do that as your main job for forever and ever, and then, okay, I'm 60, I retire. Well, if the very end, or like once you get at the top of the pay scale, you're making a lot of money as a captain on these big jets. Like, I mean, I looked at some, from Canada to the United States, 250 to $350,000 a year. Like, that's a lot of money. But if you get into that earlier, you get up to the top pay grade 4 years earlier, and then you're at that top pay grade right till you retire. Well, say you're making a quarter million a year and you didn't go and get your degree, so you got in earlier. That's $250,000 a year times the 4 years that you're up at the top pay grade. That's $1 million. So you could go to a degree and you're missing out on $1 million 20 years down the road. That's an expensive degree, $1 million. So, anyways, yeah, if you think about that, that's opportunity cost and all that other fun economic stuff that people talk about. But that's something to think about. And everyone seems to have it in their mind these days. Parents that are my age, or they have it in their mind that they think that little Johnny or little Jenny, they have to have a degree. Otherwise, they're not good people, or they're stupid, or they're I've seen parents come into where I was sort of working where I was working, and they were just determined to send their kid off to university, and I'm saying they don't need to do that. It's even more so now than it was back then. So it's like, I hope no one's going to university or college, like, and thinking, oh, this will help me out with getting a flying job. It won't. In fact, if I was hiring somebody, and I would look at the two resumes side by side. Okay, maybe they're the same age. I don't even know if you put that on the resume, but you can tell. Okay, graduated from high school this year. Graduated from high school this year. Okay, these two candidates, they're the same age. Okay, and now this guy has a four-year degree in history. Uh, okay, and then 250 hours flying time. Well, this other person has no degrees, but he's got 1,500 hours of flying time and an airline transport pilot license. Well, who are you going to hire? The guy with 250 hours, or the guy that's been working steady for 4 years? Not the guy doing bong rips and going into history class all stoned. It's like, I don't know, man. It's I don't understand people nowadays that think that university degrees are worth it, unless, like I said, is like an engineering degree, nursing, something that'll get you a good paying job at the end. Yeah, that's cool. But your average Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science is totally useless for going into flying. Oh, Rolly Knievel's hype. And so yeah, and then I was looking at how much would it cost for a degree in Canada, about 21,000, and then in the States about 40,000. You can put that towards flying. And yeah, that was kind of my little cheat sheet there. Or another thing that you could do is if you lose your pilot medical or something like that, you can go off and be a truck driver. The medical requirements for a truck driver are not quite the same as a pilot. Or I don't know, drive a garbage truck. I wouldn't want to be the guy on the back slinging the garbage in the back. That looks like a hard job. Just driving it, that might not be too bad. But yeah, so I just if there's any younger person here that's watching this that says like, hey, I want to become a pilot. My parents are telling me that I have to get a degree, and I don't want to, because most pilots hate school. There are a lot of them, they hate studying. I hate studying, but you got to study to learn the stuff to become a pilot. But I don't really, I mean, I have a BA. It's totally useless. I can tell you that. So, and yeah. So, anyways, what was I going to say there? Oh, yeah. So, if you're 18, 17, 16, your parents are pressuring you to go to university, show them this video and say, this guy in his basement says that I do not need a degree to become a pilot. Check this out, mom and dad. And then they'll say, well, you should get a degree anyways. You never know. And it's like, okay, what job can you possibly get with a degree in history? Like, here's your BA in history. Tell me what you can get for a job. Okay, working at Starbucks, McDonald's, security guard, uh, like the same thing that you can get with a high school diploma. So, like, what's the point there? Oh, it makes you a more well-rounded person. It's like you don't get to be a well-rounded person going to university because it's like I've been there. I know. It's like, here's a book. The book says this. Stick it in your head, put it on the paper. There you go. You got a degree. Oh, but now you got to write a paper. You have to write an essay on this. Okay, well, the essays that I wrote in university were no better than the ones that I did in high school. It's just you do this, ding, 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 and they just, no matter how bad you are, they give you a D and push you through anyways these days. So I don't know. It's just don't get me started. I actually think I did get started on universities, but I just unless it's engineering or nursing or something like that, just forget about it. Forget about it. So, oh, hey, Harold. Um, what do we got here? Oh, I'm gonna go through these comments here because Harold just brought up something kind of funny here. Yeah, that's about all I wanted to say was that yeah, you just don't need that. Just if you want to be a pilot, get out there, start flying, get the hours in your logbook, and do what you love to do. So there we go. And you'll get paid for it. And usually, it's like the first job you get, that's the hardest one to get. Your very first flying job. After that, everything just falls into place. And you're like these other guys that I know that they're working at Air Canada with no degrees, flying jets around, having a good old time. So, um, yeah, here we go. Oh, what do we got here? Okay, there is no path to a good paying job. Well, I don't know, really. There are good paying jobs out there, but they're the jobs that people don't want to do. You can go work on a lobster fishing boat. You make a whole ton of cash. Like, you could die. It's really cold and you're working forever, but that's a good paying job, and it's don't need a degree for that one either. So, or work in an oil patch up in northern Ontario or northern Canada. Okay, what else we got here? No, I'm not sure exactly what this is. Victoria Avenue, I know where that is here in Windsor. Wanted him to get the John Steinbeck education. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's something like real world education, which is, I don't know. I think just just don't go into debt for school, unless it's an investment, you'll get that money back. But yeah, and here I'm bashing Harold over here because he has a BA in history. Well, I know a guy's got a BA in history. He delivers for he delivered for a Purelator. Yeah, drives a truck around. BA in history. I know a guy with a uh, bachelor of science in chemistry who's been making pizzas for the last 30 years. There you go. And yes, Harold, you history buffs are not so bad. The thing is, like, I don't know. Yeah, I can understand people in the old days before the internet was around. Like, here, you have access to all this information. Like, I found out in a few Google searches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 airlines, and I found out they don't need a degree. Do you know how hard it would be pre-internet to find out from 10 airlines around the world if they needed a degree to go fly there? Like, you have to go to libraries, you'd have to, I don't even know where you'd get the information, like pre-internet. So, like, that's why I didn't know anything about getting into flying pre-internet when I was a kid. Just read a magazine. Oh, you need 20/20 vision. Well, looks like I'm screwed. No flying for me. I'll become a machinist. And then things changed. So, anyways, yeah. So, yeah, if you're going to university, college, like all that stuff is available on YouTube videos. Nice and concise. What do you want to know? Battle of Hastings, 1066. Boom, there you go. Why do I remember that? I have no idea. But I might have. When did I do that? Actually, I remembered that from a linguistics course that I took in university. So, but I mean, I could also study linguistics on YouTube. But even though 1066 has nothing to do, oh, that was the Battle of Hastings, where the French beat the British, and then that's how the French language influenced the English language. I did learn that in university, but I'm sure there's a YouTube video talking about that too. And I wouldn't have to walk in the snow to get to class. So, anyways, yeah. Okay, here we go. That is about it. So today is Friday. Cool. Think I might get some pizza tonight. And then it's been 2 weeks. I'm so predictable that way. Yeah, so Friday. So I'll be back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And we'll just kind of shut her down. So thanks everyone for showing up in the chat here today. And thank you for watching. Bye.